The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. At least 34 employees of the House of Representatives have tested positive for COVID-19. They were all part of the second batch of mass testing in the lower chamber, comprised of over 2,800 individuals. With this, Speaker Lord Alan Velasco has ordered the strict enforcement of health protocols within the Batasang Pambansa. Secretary General Mark Mendoza assures they are not being complacent, especially amid the threat of the UK variant. The detection of a more transmissible COVID-19 variant in the country has pushed the public to look for ways to add protection against the virus. But a medical doctor cautions that there is no evidence yet of their effectiveness. To give us more details, Camille Samonte is reporting live from Manila. Camille.
Riza, a medical expert, believes that despite the detection of the new COVID-19 variant in the country, there is no need for the public to double mask or to wear two face masks. Dr. Leo Olarte, former president of the Philippine Medical Association, says there is no evidence yet that wearing multiple layers of face masks will add protection against the virus. Instead, Olarte suggests it will be better to wear a N95 surgical mask that is approved by the Food and Drug Administration. He also warns the public against buying surgical masks that come too cheap, saying these masks may not be as effective and only give a false sense of security. Wearing necklace, air purifiers, and ionizers are also not advisable due to the lack of evidence for their efficacy, according to Olarte. Portable air purifiers claim to remove airborne pollutants such as viruses, bacteria, and dust from the user's personal space. Riza, Dr. Olarte reminds the public that the best weapon against the spread of COVID-19 is still following minimum health standards. These include frequent washing of hands, wearing a face mask and shield, and observing social distancing. Riza?
Thank you for that report, Camille. That was Camille Samonte reporting live from Manila. Vice President Leni Robredo is calling on the government to drop the propaganda and focus on pandemic response. This is after the Philippine economy suffered its worst post-war slump. In her weekly radio show, Robredo said the country's declining GDP is concrete proof that the government is still not doing enough to offset the effects of the health crisis.
So para sa akin kay Ellie, dapat sana yung response wag na tayo sa propaganda. Yung response dapat tinutugunan kung paano ma-resolve na mas maaga. Kasi mas matagal yung ganito, mas marami tayong mga kababayan na maghihirap.
Robredo noted that the GDP slump is alarming since other Asian countries' economies have fared better despite suffering through the pandemic as well.
Pero again, may comparative. May comparative sa Asia, sa mga bansa sa Asia. Ang nakaka-alarm dito ka ang prediction tayo yung pinakahuling makaka-report. Dahil sa quality ng ating pandemic response.
Robredo meanwhile welcomed the resignation of Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong as the country's contract tracing czar, saying his response was only fitting for a public official.
Believe naman ako kay Mayor Magalong na malakas yung sense of accountability. Yung sa akin nga, ako ka Ellie, kung meron mang nagawang lapse, yung sa akin yung response, dapat ganito yung response ng mga public officials na nalalagay sa ganitong sitwasyon.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, or CBCP, will convert its church facilities into COVID-19 vaccination sites. CBCP President and Davao City Archbishop Romulo Valles says the church role is to serve God and His people, most especially during these challenging times. Valles and other church officials add that, if necessary, they are also willing to be vaccinated in public to help build confidence in the government's vaccine campaign. The health department, meanwhile, welcomed the announcement, saying this could serve as alternative sites to areas that lack facilities, especially in those in hard-to-reach municipalities. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. State-run Philippine news agency reports that the African swine fever has spread to another town in Leyte, the municipality of DULAG. DULAG is over 40 kilometers away from ABUYOG, Leyte, where the first case of ASF in the eastern Visayas region was reported 2 weeks ago. The first case in DULAG, Leyte was reported in Combis village, where unusual swine mortality was observed by the DA regional office. Initial investigation shows that the ASF virus may have been transmitted through an infected boar used for natural mating. Hog traders may have also fed their stocks with contaminated food products. The Interior Department is calling on local officials to ensure that their policies are aligned with the national government's directive on the African swine fever. Interior Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya says what it is important to arrest the spread of the hog disease measures should not impede the flow of cargoes. This is to avoid potential food shortages. Malaya adds that local executive orders must be coordinated with the Department of Agriculture for consistency with the ASF zoning classification system. Now, to tell us more about ASF prevention measures in the Eastern Visayas region, we have with us on the phone Mr. Francisco Rosaroso. He is Regional Information Officer of the Agriculture Department's Field Office in Region 8. Sir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Riza, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving us the time to give the update on these African swine fever cases here in Leyte.
Sir, we reported earlier that an infected boar or perhaps a contaminated food products may have been the reason for the spread in Dulag town. Can you give us more details on this?
Actually, it surfaced during the surveillance and investigation, which was conducted by our joint ASF task force, meaning the joint DA and the local government unit task force. In one location, somewhere in Abuyog, and many hog raisers were tailing the task force that probably one of the reasons will be the BOAR services for natural meeting, where the owner of that BOAR goes around the municipalities. So probably that's one of the findings. And besides, there are also some stories or anecdotal accounts coming from the hog raisers themselves that swill feeding has been part of their daily routine in feeding the pigs or the hogs at the backyard level.
Sir, what are the preventive measures the regional office is currently implementing? Are you coordinating already with nearby local governments?
Yes, Ma'am Riza. Actually, 24/7, the local government unit has already been briefed or oriented on the steps and the process that should be followed in eradicating this spread of virus. In fact, right now we are still here at the municipality of DULAG having some meeting with the local chief executive, Honorable Mildred Joy Key, and right now we are actually planning out as to when are we going to have the depopulation of at least for now. There is a 100 plus or 105 heads of swine being scheduled for depopulation.
Sir, how serious then are the reported cases in Leyte so far, and any updates on the cases earlier confirmed in ABUYOG?
Actually, this is really a very serious situation. We are in a crisis situation right now because we were expecting that the spread of virus will not transfer from one municipality to the other, but it would seem that there are already 4 municipalities affected, but not all. I would like to make it clear that not all barangays of these 4 municipalities are affected. Only around 21 barangays actually, all in all. And we are hoping that we could have more stringent border checkpoints because we have already asked the help of the military and the Philippine National Police, including a series of orientation briefings have been conducted together with the nearby municipalities outside from the ground zero.
So do you have figures as to how many hogs have been culled so far in the region because of this development?
As of yesterday, it appears that we already have 1,697 heads of the culled pigs. Ms. Reza?
Sir, finally, does this affect the supply in the area?
Actually, Leyte is not really sufficient in terms of hogs production. We still rely from other regions, but then we are not also an importing or exporting province. I mean, so basically, we are also bothered by these cases because we have more or less 70% sufficiency in terms of local production. So about 30% should come from other regions. So with these cases of African swine fever now happening in Leyte, we are very, we call this, we are hoping that it would not really be that severe enough to wipe out the industry in the province of Leyte.
Okay, thank you for your time and for those information, Mr. Francisco Rosaroso from the DA Regional Field Office 8. And for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.